we're here at Chatsworth a few weeks ahead of the first Chatsworth Dodson Horrell International Horse Trials. A lot's changed here this year because sadly there was no Chatsworth last year. Brand new sponsor, brand new Dodson Horrell Cup as your top class, and the course, I understand, is running the opposite way round to how it has for the last few runnings.
Yeah, it's a completely new course for the riders and the horses, which is great, and thanks to Dodson Horrell and the fact that they've come on board. It means that we've had the extra money to help turn the track round, because that's not cheap. But I think there's lots of challenges out there. It's sort of changed the course in many ways. It's slightly softened the beginning, and then we get into the more technical questions early-ish on with the corners and the stick pile, and then down to Queen Mary's Bar. And then they've got this long climb up the hill that's really going to test them, and they've got to save the energy back down the hill through the ice pond. It's never easy there, and I've tightened that question up so the related distance is much tougher. So anyone that doesn't jump in well is going to be in trouble at the Two Birds. And then there's two or three nice friendlier fences, big but friendly-ish. And then towards the end of the course we've got the sunken road that's been turned round, and that for me is probably one of the most influential fences, and the riders are going to have to make sure the horses have got plenty of petrol left in the tank. From there, if they get through that, they should be able to hunt their way home, but it's never over until you get over that last fence.
Well, great, let's go and look at some of the fences. So here at Fence 5, the first major complicated challenging combination on the course, and you call it the stick pile and corners, and it looks more like the aftermath of a tsunami to me. How would you like to see this one tackled?
Well, as you say, it's the first major combination on the track. It's all about accuracy, but there are also three big fences, so they're going to be testing the horse's scope and accuracy together. So there is quite a tight line through here. It's 4 strides and then 3 strides, but I think we could see all sorts. I think we could see 4 and 4 or 3 and 3. It really depends on how much of a risk the riders want to take at this stage. But the influential part will be the stringing on the approach. They haven't got masses of room when they approach the first corner, and so it's all about accuracy and balance as well.
So Ian, riders come up to the Two Graces. They really know they're at Chatsworth when they reach this fence. It's a beautiful fence that's been here since the millennium, specially commissioned sculptural fence. But this time they're not coming over it and down a hill over some skinny fences. It's the other way around. Talk us through this stretch of the course.
Yeah, well, they've had a good bit of galloping at the start of the course, and then instead of going down this hill, and I'm sure the riders will be delighted that they haven't got this brush corners at the bottom, because they've caused a lot of headaches to a lot of good riders over the years. This time we've got the double of skinny triple brushes coming up the hill. It's a big enough question, but it shouldn't really be that much for the horses and riders at this stage. Horses tend to lock onto these skinny fences nowadays. But it is the start of a real climb up over the Alan James sculpture fence, and then they keep on climbing right to the top of the hill to the hollow, and that's going to be the influential part. Is how fast dare they go up here, and how much petrol did they save in the tank for later on. The fence is beautiful though it is, hopefully won't cause too many problems.
We're in the last part of the course here. They've just jumped a sizable chunky parallel, and then they come to this sunken road which even undressed looks a really big question, and where in 2011 Andrew Nicholson came off Armada, and you don't see him come unstuck very often. So why is this so meaty and challenging, and how do you ride it well?
Well, I have to say, going back a bit, I was in a panic when Andrew Nicholson fell off here, but he had jumped it on that same horse the year before clear, so I didn't feel quite so bad after that. But it is the last sort of major combination on the course, and possibly, to my mind, could be the most influential. So riders are going to have to think about that all the way around, and how they're using their horses and how much they ask of them. They've done all the climbing, they've come down over that oxer down the hill, and then they've got quite a sharp ramp up to this rail. And this is going to be the deciding factor of how well the fence rides. If they get the pace right up to this rail, then they'll have a bounce down into the sunken road stride, up a step stride, and then bounce over the 2 rails on the way out. Then it'll look simple. And sitting in your car or having a picnic by the side of the fence, if someone does it correctly, it's going to look phenomenal. But get this approach wrong and all sorts of things can go wrong there. There will be alternatives, there will be a way out for them, but they'll be lucky to get away without 20 penalties.
But if they go the fast route, it's 5 intense efforts in a very few seconds, isn't it? So they do need petrol in the tank.
They need petrol in the tank, and it is intense. It's big enough, but it's mainly technical, and you know, technical fence at the end of a course, it causes its own problems. So I hope the riders are thinking on their feet, and you know, they come up with the goods. I'm looking forward to seeing how it rides.
Well, so Ian, you have already developed a reputation for building courses that make riders sit up, take notice, worry quite a lot, and then ride them very positively, and generally come back with very positive feedback. What would you like the horses and riders and the public visiting the Chatsworth Dodson and Horrell International Trials to have got out of it by the time they leave?
It's a very good question and very difficult to answer. I want everybody to have a good day. Not everyone can win. What I really enjoy is seeing riders ride well and horses jump well, and you give them the questions that test them and challenge them, and in a way intimidate and frighten them. But if the riders are going well and the horses are jumping well, I want them to be rewarded with good, safe jumping, and you know, and I wanted to encourage the sport. That's what it's all about.
And Chatsworth, what differentiates it? I mean, it's a proper parkland, old-fashioned horse trial, this one. What differentiates it from some of the more modern ways that eventing's going that's great fun for the public to watch?
I think what's so special about here is it is an incredible park. There's the most magnificent backdrop of the house, and there's lots of terrain. You know, it's quite steep out there. Tend to think, you know, on the bottom here by the main arena that it's flat, but there's a lot of hills out there, and it's testing for the horses, testing for the riders, and it's all about keeping the balance and keeping the rhythm. And if they can do that here, they can do it anywhere.
Well, I hope you have a great event.
Thank you.